If you're watching this, you've probably seen those viral AI girls online and you're wondering, is this real? Are people actually making money from this? And the answer is yes. This is AI OFM, AI OnlyFans management. But we don't just use AI to help real models, we replace them. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through everything you need to know to start your own AI model business from scratch. Even if you have zero experience, zero followers, and zero team, this is the full 2025 blueprint. By the end of this video, you'll know how to build, launch, and scale your first digital model like a business. Now, first of all, who am I and why do I have the right to talk about this? My name's Kyle. If you go back on the channel, you can see that I've been doing AI models for 2 to 3 years now. This was before people even know what AI was, let alone AI OnlyFans. I was very much the pioneer in this space. I very much invented the whole AI OnlyFans management space. And this is why I have the right to talk about this, because I have coached thousands of people to make millions of dollars online with AI models. This is no joke. This is a legitimate business model that's growing and growing and becoming more popular. And if you've seen this online, you know that these make money. So I have the right to be able to run you through this for free and teach you everything that I know about how to start your AI model from scratch in 2025. So step number one, you're going to pick your niche. Now, before you build the model, you're going to build the brand. So you need to choose a niche that fits a clear fantasy. Everyone goes for the blonde hair, blue-eyed, slim model. This is fine. This is attractive. People like this type of model, which is exactly where I can see your thinking is coming from. However, there are hundreds of thousands of blonde hair, blue-eyed girls on Instagram who are just generic females, right? You cannot just make a blonde hair, blue-eyed model and stand out. She may be super attractive. She may be the most attractive blonde hair, blue-eyed girl on Instagram, but no one's going to follow it if she has nothing to follow along with. They'd rather follow someone who already has 250,000 followers on that social media site. You need something that's clearly going to make your model stand out. So something such as the luxury niche, meaning that she's, rich, posh, she grew up in a wealthy family, she goes on private jets, all this kind of stuff. Gamer girl niche, for example, extremely niche. It's going to attract the nerdy target audience, which is great because they are kind of our typical fans that we're going to find on subscription-based sites such as OnlyFans. Wholesome girlfriends, fitness coaches, e-girls, golf girls, football girls, right? Anything that makes this model stand out and that a certain group of people are going to be attracted to is going to get you 10 times more money, more importantly, and followers than just your generic blonde hair, blue-eyed girl. This doesn't mean that she can't be blonde hair, blue eyes, but make sure that she has something that makes her stand out to a certain group of people. Now, you need to know about this certain niche. If you know about video games, if you know about politics, if you know about football, those are kind of areas that you can lean into because you're going to know exactly how to attract that audience, how to market to that audience. If you are extremely dedicated to chess and you know everything about chess and everything about chess players and chess tournaments, chess is going to be the niche that you put your girl into. It doesn't matter if it seems boring, if it seems like outlandish. This is something that you can actually legitimately tap into because you understand the market and you understand exactly how to target these people and the knowledge that it takes to be able to target these people. So your niche is not only just going to be interest-based, as I've just listed, but it can also be looks-based. She can be extremely tattooed, although this is quite difficult with AI. She can have blue hair, for example, that's just something to make them stand out, right? Chat style, she can be weird, she can think that she's a cat, she can be like a furry. It doesn't actually matter. But most importantly, you're going to study what's trending. If you're completely stuck, you don't really have like a certain knowledge point, study exactly what's trending right now. What's going viral on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube, and what is popular to the type of people that are going to subscribe to these pages. This is something that you need to figure out. Yes, it takes a bit of time, but nothing ever comes easy. Research competitors as well. Go on the most popular, not just AI models, but just generic models, and see exactly what they're doing, what they're posting, what trends they're posting, what niche they're leaning into, because that is something that has a brain behind it and something that's going to have some logic, right? So think of your model as like a startup business. You're basically creating a product that emotionally connects with a specific audience. That's all this is. That's all marketing is in general. So you're going to need to stand out, make your model perfect to a specific group of people. Now, step 2, you're going to generate the model. Now, in this specific video, I'm not going to go over how you can exactly go onto these sites, type in prompts. There is plenty of videos on this channel alone and just on YouTube in general that will teach you how to go into an image generator and how to generate a model. I don't need to go over this right now, but essentially you're going to bring her to life, not with cameras, not with hiring people, but with prompts. Now, this is a legitimate fake person. This person's not going to exist. You're literally going to type in a prompt into an AI image generator and it's going to make someone who resembles the person that you want to create. Using generators like Leonardo, Midjourney, Flux, any of these kind of generators is what you're going to want to research into because they are the easiest to learn. But there's also kind of an art to it, right? You're not going to be good at it from day one. There is an art to this. Therefore, what I'm going to recommend you is, if you're like me, I just like to outsource this. I don't know anything about AI generation. Okay, it's just plain putting it out there. I don't know how to generate AI models. I can't do it. I wouldn't want to be able to do it. I want to outsource my work because I want to be able to get those images in like a business, be able to market those images and be able to sell them. That's all I want. I don't really want to fuck about on an AI prompt generator. Some people are into that and that's cool, but there is an art to this. You're gonna have to think about camera angles, environments, what sells, what colors sell, what clothing sells, what type of clothing is going to persuade the audience to buy that specific model's content. You're going to want to generate 30 to 50 images as a minimum. This is going to go on Instagram, this is going to go in your fanvue feed, and this is going to go in all types of places. Now, the reason I say fanvue, OnlyFans exists. It doesn't like AI generated content. Fanvue is much more safe and they allow you to use your own ID to make an AI generated person. You're going to then organize it into categories. So organize this content into categories on like a Google Drive folder or a Dropbox folder or somewhere where you can actually categorize this content. If you just have content in a folder and it's just placed into there and there's thousands of images in there in a few months' time, you're not going to know what's where, what is what. Start categorizing from the start. Feed content, pay-per-view content, story style content, and organize them into different niches or different time periods or different places, different locations, whatever. Organize your content. Then, as a bonus, you can use upscaling tools to make your images a higher quality or just a very good post-production editor. With outsourcing your AI models, if you don't want to learn this because it is a long process, what you can do is I'm going to link my designers below. You can actually use my designers that I use for my models and they can make your content for you. Yes, of course it costs money, but you're going to outsource that area of your business, which is going to be the main time consumer. You're not just going to generate pictures, you're going to build trust with fake consistency. Step 3 is we're going to build the persona. Persona is extremely important and it kind of ties into niches quite nicely. So the difference between an AI girl that flops and one that prints is going to be the personality. Remember that this is the reason why people are subscribing to come to a subscription site. They want to talk to this model because they find her interesting or they really like the personality of the model. So essentially what you can do is use ChatGPT to build a personality for you. You don't have to think for hours like we had to do back in the day of, certain personality types, what works well, jumping on calls with the model because she doesn't exist, obviously. Use ChatGPT to build your model's personality. Input a niche into there, make the model's bio, what her tone's going to be like, because that's extremely important when chatting to people. It needs to be a consistent tone. What is she interested in? What's her favorite things? Favorite food? What does she do for a living, right? All of these things are actually going to add up and they're going to sell. Yes, this model doesn't exist and it sounds absolutely mental to make this whole fake personality and almost like write a book about a fake character doesn't exist, but it's extremely important to get these points across because it's going to sell in the future. You can also get ChatGPT to then write you captions, write responses to fan messages, write intros to messages, and then we can create 3 to 5 base personality templates and we can then test the engagement with that. So we can actually create 3 to 5 different personalities and test them to either different fans or different social media pages, and we can see what's working best for our model. We can do the same with niches as well. Personalities going to drive an emotional buy-in, which is going to lead to a recurring spend in customers. Now, you're not going to want to overlook micro details like emojis, punctuation, voice tone, because when you hire chatters, aka salesmen, and put them on your accounts when your accounts get very popular, it's going to be a very difficult process to make them carry across the same tone, punctuation, emojis, all that kind of stuff. Just get the basics right, and then you can write them down on like an info card and make that consistent across your accounts. See, every message she sends should deepen the illusion that she's real and emotionally available. Don't get me wrong, you don't want to falsely hook people in and make them think that this girl is real. That's not what we're here to do. We don't do that. We do this in a legal way where we tell them that we're AI. However, they still crave human attention. Yes, they're going to an AI person, but they still crave the human intelligence and the emotional availability that a human will offer, which is why we need to come across as lifelike as possible, not because we're trying to persuade or mislead people into thinking that we're real. Now, step number 4 is setting up a fanvue page. OnlyFans banned AI models, and fanvue welcome them. So we're going to go where the money is allowed. Sign up and verify your model on fanvue. You can use your own ID. You verify it with your own face, and that is completely allowed, even as a bloke, right? You're going to upload content in batches. Daily feed posts, welcome post, and a pinned pay-per-view. What this is going to do is allow people to come into the page and buy content straight away. So if they don't want to wait for a reply to a message, if you're not online all the time or whatever, or they may just think that, they can instantly buy as soon as they jump on the page. You're going to want to set up automatic welcome messages and menus. So you can have a tip menu, you can have lock messages that basically spawn in as soon as someone subscribes to that page, right? This is all stuff that you can do to maximize sales. Now I'm going to give you some pricing tips. When it comes to your subscription price, make it as low as possible. The reason you want to do this, and a lot of people think that most of the money is going to come from messages. So you're going to sell exclusive content or custom content to these customers, and that is exactly what's going to make you the money. Subscriptions should make up probably 1/10 at most of what your revenue is going to be. So if you have $1,000 worth of subscribers, you're going to want to be making at least 10,000 in messages. That's just how the game works, or should work at least. So you want as low as possible. You want a low barrier to entry to get into the page, because these guys, they're going to be a bit abrasive when it comes to getting into the page in the first place. So they're not going to be, wanting to spend $20 on a girl they've never spoken to before. Whereas $3.99, much fairer price to get in, then to qualify to chat to you, right? These guys, they're not coming in. You don't want any exclusive content on your feed for free anyway. Absolutely not. Never. Because that's going to draw them away from spending money in messages. What you're going to want to do is get them in as cheap as possible, and then that's going to persuade them to spend in the future, and that's absolutely fine. Once they're then spending, they're more likely to spend even more. So once they've spent their first $3.99, they can also then up that spend to $300 a month or $400 a month, because they're now in conversation. They're now used to paying for this exclusive content. So set the subscription price as low as possible. This is my recommendation. In some cases, I even recommend free subscribers, but in reality, you're going to want some sort of charge just to keep a recurring fee there. Now remember, this is your monetization hub. So if you get it wrong, nothing else is going to matter. Step 5, create your marketing funnel. So now you've got the product, let's get eyes on it. So you're going to want to build an Instagram page, and I recommend a TikTok page as well. Now, choose a name that's going to fit the niche and emotional tone. Don't just pick some name that's got 12 numbers at the end, a dot in the middle, and an underscore. Doesn't make any sense. Choose your model's name as something that's very human, not something that's very fake and stage name-ish, like Maria Star, because that just seems like a fake name. Make it more of a legitimate name that seems real, seems like a real female, because they like that. Now, usernames, as I just mentioned, underscores, dots, numbers, all this kind of shit is only going to draw people away because it looks very spammy, but also it's going to make you a lot harder to find when they're searching for your model. Now, what you're going to want to do once your Instagram account is nicely warmed up, I've got a warm-up guide on this YouTube channel if you're interested. You cannot just jump on an Instagram account and start posting 12 times a day. It doesn't work. You need to go through a warm-up process, which is normally 2 weeks to a month long. Yes, long process, obviously. Same with TikTok. It's a long process to get it warmed up, but once it's warmed up, it's going to work. So once it is warmed up, you're going to be posting 3 reels a day on each platform. This is what I recommend. So yes, you can post, standard feed posts. This isn't really going to get you an external audience. So I recommend posting reels, and I recommend those reels to be able to reach a certain audience. So test and trial different types of reels, whether that's captions, controversial captions, whether that's fake podcast clips that you're making for these AI girls, which yes, we can do now, or whether that's just images that you're posting as a reel with music in the background. Test and trial different things to see what your audience is into and what they like. Now you're going to create a basic funnel. So essentially your funnel is going to look like reels, Instagram bio, fanvue page. Now there is a step in between, which is a link tree or a link encryption service. It doesn't actually have to be Linktree, but everyone knows it as Linktree. Beacons.ai, Hubi, all these kind of sites, they work as well. But essentially that's going to protect your Instagram account. You cannot have a direct fanvue link in your bio. It's the same with any site that essentially can have 18 plus content on it. Instagram just protects their users from that. So make sure you have a step in between, because that's going to improve your funnel and protect your account. But reel to Instagram bio to fanvue page is the basic funnel. Now, if you're going through TikTok, what you don't want to do is TikTok to bio to fanvue page. You want to go from TikTok, Instagram, bio, fanvue page. Now, this is a bit of a confusing thing, but TikTok, even if you have a link encryption service on there, they're not going to be able to access it from the TikTok browser, because TikTok doesn't open an external browser, it opens a internal TikTok browser. So that's not going to allow you onto any site like that. And any person who goes onto a site like that from your page is going to flag your page. So make sure you just go funnel them to Instagram. You're going to want to soft sell in the captions and have a lot of call to actions on things like your story and in your posts. So make sure your captions are provocative and enticing. So make them suggestive, make them want to look in the bio, for example. So on Instagram, you can put a location. Maybe that location could say link in bio. They can go to the bio because they've just seen that it says link in bio. It's going to think, oh, I'm going to go to link in bio. Pretty easy, right? Keep active on your stories as well. Now, stories are very important because you can portray a certain lifestyle on your stories. So you can go to Pinterest, for example. You can take lovely images of girls' nails, trips to Paris, going out to restaurants, and you can post this on your story, and it's going to look just as real and as if your model is on those trips and on, having that lifestyle as well. So you can kind of pick a lifestyle, be posting that on your story to kind of sell yourself a bit more. Now, what I recommend, Instagram is a very slow process. TikTok, a little bit faster. I believe that if you do TikTok correctly, you'll grow a lot faster than you would on Instagram. However, you do have to still go from TikTok to Instagram. So it's kind of the same thing. So with Instagram, you need to spark that account quick, because just reels or just posts or just whatever you're doing, normally, unless you're very lucky, isn't enough. So we run mass DMs. This is how we drive traffic instantly to our Instagram accounts. You can use Social Link. Social Link is a provider that we use for mass DMs. Essentially what a mass DM is you're able to send 100,000, 500,000, a million DMs to your direct target audience. You can select, let's just say, Sophie Rain, for example. You can scrape her audience and send a DM to 1 million of her followers. This is what we use. This is going to bring thousands of people to your pages and their direct target audience. So they're actually likely to convert as well. But if they don't convert, they're likely to follow. If they don't follow, they're also bringing your Instagram page attention, which is going to boost you in the algorithm. So either way, it's kind of a win. Now, test different call to actions. This is important. As I mentioned with stories, extremely important to keep active on stories, but also important to entice people from your stories to look in your link in bio, or even have that same link in bio on your story and say, click here, I'm active, chat here, whatever. Test different call to actions, test different scripts with your call to actions. You can have a 5-story, lead up to a call to action. If you wanted to, you could host a Q&A on your story. Whatever you need to do and whatever you need to test, whatever converts the best is what you're going to want to go into. Now, it's not just Instagram and TikTok, but those are the simplest. You can also go into Reddit, Twitter, Discord, external sites. Whatever you're actually good at is what you want to focus on. If you're amazing at Twitter, if you're amazing at Reddit, focus on those, because those are your biggest chance of going viral or your biggest chance of funneling people from it. Me personally, never use Reddit, don't know anything about it, apart from obviously the work that I've done with Reddit in the past. I wouldn't have ever used Reddit in my day-to-day life. So if you are a Reddit user, that's something that you can go into 100%. Traffic is your growth engine. And if you don't drive eyes, you don't make sales. Now we're going to set up a chat system. This can be very, very simple. Now, chatting, as I mentioned at the start, is where your main income is going to come from. So what do you do with chatting, or how do you get more people to chat? You can do this many ways. In an ideal world, you are going to have a sales team who does this for you, because it's going to be extremely, extremely time consuming. Different customers from different countries are on at different times. They have work at different times. They, get active in that kind of way at different times, meaning that you're going to have to be active a hell of a lot of the time. And you probably have a job, or you probably have stuff to do, whatever, right? So in an ideal world, you will have a team working 24 hours around the clock. Now, is a team going to work for you if you're making no money? Probably not. This goes for our chatting team as well. I own a sales agency for these models, and we essentially help people to make the maximum amount of sales via these routes. Now, if you are earning a decent amount of money, or you do have decent traffic, or you're a traffic expert, we will consider taking you on into our team. However, understand we work on commission. We have a full English chatting team that works 24/7. So yes, they need some sort of traffic. They need to get paid. They're working on commission. They're not going to sit on an empty page, obviously. But the link to apply will be in the description, as well as you can also hire your own chatting team. This 100% exists, but obviously outsourcing to an agency has its benefits. The agency are going to pay the chatters. The agency are going to sort any problems that come on. The agency are going to train the chatters. They're going to be fully trained, and they're going to have a fully scheduled period to work on your account on. It's very, very difficult to actually run this for yourself. However, once it's all in place, it's simple. But how chatting works, because a lot of people get very confused on how to talk to people, or what to actually talk to people about. Do you talk to them about normal stuff? Do you just send them images? What do you do? You are going to want to make as many connections as possible, because the deeper the connection is, the more money they're going to spend. It's just a fact. Again, this does not mean that we are falsifying anything. We don't have to, falsely claim that we're real. We don't have to promise meetups. We don't have to do any of this. Customers can be aware that they're AI. And in fact, many customers prefer the fact that they're AI. They're weird. The basic framework is to tease, then delay, then upsell. So we are going to chat to them. We're not going to sell straight away. We're going to delay that, and then we're going to sell. Now, of course, in any sales environment, if someone comes in and they're willing to spend money instantly, we're going to sell to them. Obviously, that's just how sales works. But if someone comes in, they're about 1% apprehensive, they don't really know what they're doing, we are not going to sell to them straight away, because that's just going to instantly get this idea in their head that they are there to be a customer. Whereas realistically, you want to build a bit of a barrier between customer and relationship. So these guys are coming in here to chat to this girl. We're going to make it look like, yes, you're going to chat to this girl. And then we can introduce things like upsells. And if they don't buy, then they're a waste of time, and we're not going to chat to them anymore. We're going to make that very, very clear once the connection is actually built. Now, the more emotionally vulnerable you can effectively make a customer, the better your custom offers can be towards them. All you're doing is supply and demand. You are creating an emotional connection between a person, and they are asking for an emotional connection with this person. You're giving that exactly to them. Therefore, the connection becomes worth more value than it was in the beginning, because now they have something at stake. Now they have to pay to be able to chat to this person. That's exactly how it works. Now, storytelling is also an extremely popular method. What we can do is build out scripts. So let's just say, for example, I'm in bed watching Netflix. What are you doing? Sending certain images that are going to tease the customer into buying certain content. You can build a storyline and work up to that point. And as you get more and more explicit with content, you can also get more and more expensive as well, and you increment explicitity with pricing. That's just how the game works. To scale, as I mentioned, you can hire chatters. You can use a chatting agency. We have one in the description that you can apply to. And you can offer custom images, custom videos, voice notes. These can be real voice notes from a voice actor, or they can be AI voice notes, exclusive pay-per-views. Look, AI models don't need to be human, but they need to feel human in chat, because that is exactly where the money is. Now, step 7, you're going to scale this like a business. Once one model works, you don't guess, you clone. So now you're going to create SOPs for model generation, whether that be outsourcing that completely or whether you're still going to do that bit yourself. That's absolutely fine. You're going to create SOPs for funnel building, chatting scripts, weekly content drops, and test 3 to 5 niches over time and kill underperformers. And then you're going to reinvest profits. So paid shout outs, teams of VAs that are going to work on threads, Twitter farms, whatever, AI tool upgrades, automate your backends. So whether that's using Notion, Telegram groups, whatever it is that you need to manage staff. And the goal is to step out of the day-to-day and operate like a CEO, not a creator. So yes, once one model works, you can then hire staff to take over all those processes for you and then make a new model and then do exactly the same thing, replicate. And you can have an army of 10, 20, 100 different AI models in a couple years' time that are just going to print on autopilot for you. However, what you do need to know is that this business model is extremely new. However, it is growing in popularity very, very quickly. By the end of 2025, this business model is going to be near impossible to get into as a new beginner, just as it is with dropshipping as a beginner now. If you discovered dropshipping back in 2017, you'd be flying. Obviously, that's how the game works. You've just discovered AI OnlyFans models at the earliest stage possible. Now you're going to want to jump on this now, not later, not next year, now, because you will be kicking yourself when everyone else is a millionaire off of AI models. So that is how you start an AI model business in 2025 and scale it without ever showing your face. You don't need followers. You don't need a real model. You need a system. And if you want me to work you through it personally, you're going to DM me on Instagram, the word AI, or you're going to join the $47 course in the description. Now, what on earth would you spend $47 on if you did not spend it on this course? Let's be honest. Are you going to go out on the weekend and spend $40 on drinks? Probably. Are you going to go down, take your missus that you probably don't like out for dinner tomorrow, and it's going to cost you over $40? Yes. Spend $47 on your future, spend $47 on starting a business, and spend $47 on a chronologically laid out process by myself and other expert coaches within the AI model space who have printed 7 figures, 8 figures with AI models. Because that is exactly the type of thing that you need to do and where you need to put your money if you are looking to escape and start a business and all this kind of stuff, that escape the matrix, whatever, fall into that fucking trap. You've just found a business model that works. Get into it, $47 course, chronological order in the description. Don't just scroll past this and come back in 6 months when everyone else is doing it. This is early. You're early. Let's build.